So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to blanch some green beans. I'm going to do this two different ways. We are going to do steaming. We are going to do just blanching in some boiling water. First thing we need to do is start out with some green beans. And so first of all, we're approaching winter. And so we are the farthest that we can be from green bean season. So these are not good looking green beans whatsoever. And so when you look at a green bean, you can kind of tell what part goes to what, because you need to snip. But some people snip both ends, but you really shouldn't. So this part, you can see this part connects to the plant, and then this part has the little thing on the end, and we really want to leave that on. If you can see that, maybe you can get some more contrast if I move it out of the way. That thing you want to leave on. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to like snip this off. And you can even like, some people just snap them, but when you're working in a rest, like if you, like you can just snap it off, but it doesn't make a very pretty end. So I just go through, and when you do this, I've actually made the mistake of, and if it has an ugly end on the other side, you can definitely just snip it off. If your knife is like super sharp, it has like cut into my skin. So like you want to make sure that you are not, that you're being safe about it if you're going old school like I am. And just make sure that they look good and just snip off one side. Okay, I'll see you in a couple of minutes when I'm done. So my green beans are all snipped, and we're gonna make two different piles. So we're gonna do one pile steamed and one pile blanched. And blanched means you par cook in boiling water. And even when we steam the other half, we're still only going to par cook them, or partially, air bunnies, partially cook them. Because what we're gonna do is you want to cook them like 3/4 of the way, and that's what restaurants do. And then they're basically ready to be served. You can just roll them in hot butter, or you can just flash cook them in some way, and then they are done. There are some foods that are always par cooked by the time you get there, and this is definitely one of them, vegetables. And so let me show you how this is done. Here is my boiling water. I'm actually doing this on an angle because I tried to put the camera over the pot and it just completely fogged up. So, but I actually kind of like this, this obscure kind of side, this side look. So I have my salt, so I'm going to give it copious amounts of salt. And then I'm at a full boil. You don't want to add it until it's at a full boil, because then you're just going to have soggy vegetables. I have my ice bath ready so I can shock it. I have my spider at the ready, which my father used to just buy things at the restaurant store, and this is one of them, and then he decides he doesn't want them. So I should thank him. I have my green beans, and I have my timer set at 2 minutes. So I'm just going to drop them and hit my timer, and it is going. So green beans that are this thick normally take anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes, and you can see how instantly the boil went away. So I'm just going to cover them, which will make them recover faster. If you have a thinner green bean, like a haricot vert, which is spelled more like Harry Covert, but it might be 1 to 2 minutes, because remember, we're trying to cook these slightly under. If you cook them all the way and then cook them again, you're just going to have mushy green beans, and we're trying to keep that bright green color. We don't want it to get all army green. You see how they're already getting brighter? Okay, I'll see you in like a minute. So it has been 2 minutes. You see we're already back at a boil, and I have a feeling they are not done, but we're gonna try one. So you just grab the biggest one you can find. If you're crazy like me, you can just eat it, or you can throw it in the cold water real quick and then try it. Almost. So we need like 1 more minute. See you in a minute. It has been yet another minute. So we are at 3 minutes total. So we're just gonna reach in here and we're gonna grab the biggest one. We're gonna throw it in there. We're just gonna give it a little try. It's perfect. So at this point, we're just gonna collect them all and we're gonna put them in the ice bath. Now, if you're doing a lot in a restaurant, this is the way to do it, because You can do batch after batch after batch. You don't want to overload the water, because if you overload the water, then it's not going to cook fast enough and you're going to get mushy outsides and overcooked interiors. Now, if I grab one of the raw ones and I grab one of the cooked ones, or a couple of the cooked ones, you can see the color difference. So these look much nicer. They're more of a Kelly green, which is really nice. And you can also see how the water turned a little bit green too. That's because a lot of the nutrients and the chlorophyll went into the water. Okay, let me show you how to do steam now. We are now ready to steam our vegetables. If you noticed, I dumped a lot of the water out because you only need a little bit in the bottom and it is already boiling away. One thing I forgot to say is that, okay, so this is one that I already cooked. And if you noticed, I'm holding it basically perpendicular to the ground and it doesn't and there's some bend there now that it is cooked, but it still holds its own shape without flopping over. If you overcook a green vegetable like asparagus or green beans, it will, gravity will make it turn down towards the ground. And that's how you know that you have definitely overcooked it. So when it comes to steaming, you can use this kind of steamer basket, which you only use a tiny, tiny little bit in the bottom because you can see how shallow the feet are on this. Or if your pot like mine, if you have a pot like mine did that comes with this lovely steamer basket, all you have to do is throw the steamer basket in on top. Make sure that the water is not coming up through the bottom of the basket. It's kind of popping through a little bit, but it's not too bad. And then all that I'm going to do is take my green beans, is spread them out throughout here. And then I'm going to throw the lid on. And we're going to start at 3 minutes because this is more of we pretty much know that it's about 3 minutes now. And so when 3 minutes is up, we'll check them. You need the lid too, because the lid keeps the steam in. Otherwise, all the steam would just go up to the atmosphere. Okay, see you in 3 minutes. It has been 3 minutes, and so you can see the steam escaping from the lid, or as my physics friends would say, it's doing work. And I'm gonna I'll take this big guy right here, and we'll give him a try. It's perfect. So all that we need to do now is reach in and grab these, which are going to be hot, by the way. So let the excess water drain off from the steam. Pour it in the ice water, and that's it. Now all of our vegetables are ready for service. So when we get that order of whatever goes with the green beans, all that we need to do is heat them up in which way we want to. We could steam them again. We could throw them in hot water. We could roll them in hot butter, garlic butter, whatever we wanted, which I will show you in a minute. So yeah. So in my pan, what I have is I have garlic and a little bit of olive oil so it doesn't burn. And I have about a tablespoon of butter. And then I have my green beans, which are blanched, which are now cold because they've been sitting in the refrigerator. So everything else is ready. So my chicken is ready. I did my starch first. So my starch is ready. My chicken is ready. And now I'm going to do my vegetable. The vegetable is the last thing to do. Also, I'm not doing a sauce with this one, but if I did a sauce, that would also be ready. And then the last thing you do is always the vegetable. So start it in a cold pan. I'm going to wait until my garlic just cooks a little bit, and then I will add my green beans. My garlic is smelling amazing, and it's not browning yet, but I'm going to add the green beans a little bit before it starts browning, just because I don't want the garlic to get overcooked. And so you add how many orders you have. In this case, I'm cooking for my family. So that would mean 4 orders plus extra. And then I have a little bit of water in here from just, what came out of the green beans. And that's always good to keep around. If my green beans start, actually the garlic. If I feel like my garlic is starting to get overcooked, well then all that I have to do is put a little bit of that liquid in there. See how the garlic is starting to brown? I'm just gonna take a little of that liquid. Probably could use a little more, but that's about it. You can always add a little bit of water, chicken stock. And now in about a minute or so, this will be hot and ready to plate. So let's plate.